Are you ready for the most ridiculous advice in fantasy football? If so, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, without any further ado, here they are. It's Terrbiculus and Rondiculus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Terrbiculus and Rondiculus show. As you can see, Rondiculus and I are not in the same location today, but we are bringing the podcast a day late. How are you, Ron? Are you ready for week 14?
I am. I'm doing good, Terry. How are you doing?
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, so we'll talk about this another time.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of personal things going on, a lot of football stuff going on, so let's jump into it, Ron.
Terry's got a lot of picks for us today, so I know he's excited.
No, I'm excited. I've got a lot of things going on, so let's talk a little bit about last week, if you don't mind, real quick.
Absolutely. Last week, the winning lineup scored 228.54 points. A lot of points again. They used $59,900 of their salary, so left $100 on the table. They played Deshaun Watson, but they didn't pair him up with anybody else. It was a naked build, I guess you want to say. So, so they had a great lineup. They had Deshaun Watson, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Devontae Adams, Corey Davis, Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, Rashad Higgins, and New England defense. New England defense scored up again. They were only 2.4% owned. They had 31 points. They were like Atlanta from last week, so they just lit it up.
Yeah.
So
they used all their defense and offense on last week's game, because last night they were miserable.
Gosh. I know, it was terrible. It was bad.
Yeah.
But they New England was the defense to play. I looked at the top 10 lineups, and they were in 7 of the top 10. So you could get to the top 10 without New England's defense, but it was tough. And our suggestions from last week, we had 15 players that were used in the top 10 lineups. We have some good picks for you guys again last week. Hopefully we have even more this week. I know you have a lot of players you want to talk about. I do too. So we'll kind of leave it at that for last week. So we'll move on to week number 14 and get our players going. And we'll just
leave it at that. We had a lot of good suggestions last week for you. Again, put them in the right lineups. You'll win that money. If you don't, you won't win the money.
Yes, that is very true.
Anyway, let's do
week 14. Yeah. Let's start with our week of the game. Game of the week.
I actually wanted you to start. I'm going to tell you, I had a hard time this week with players, games of the week. It's tough, and I tell you what, because we're looking at a lot of different factors. We're looking at factors like playoffs. Who's already made the playoffs. Absolutely. A lot of different things going on to these picks. So, Who did you have for your game of the week, Ron? Who do you have?
My game of the week, I was struggling too, but I ended up going with Minnesota and Tampa Bay. 52.5 points. Is that what yours is as well? So
I did choose that one. I had a backup just in case you chose that one as well, and I want to hear what your opinion is on it. So
okay, but you know what? We had the same game last week, and we seem to be doing good on picking the games of the week. So So I think that it's a good game. It's like I said, 52.5 point total, minus 6.5 for Tampa Bay, and I think the weather's supposed to be good. I actually didn't double check. I apologize for that, but I think the weather's supposed to be okay in Tampa Bay. So they're playing in Tampa Bay. So I think it's
right.
Good. Exactly. Who was your other game? Who was your backup game?
The other game I was thinking about was Indianapolis, Las Vegas, and my reasoning between that is because Indy's trying to hold on to their division. Vegas is trying to get at least a wild card going. They're not going to win their division, but at least maybe a wild card. So I thought maybe that would be a real shootout. I think it's going to go Indianapolis's way, but I thought it would be a high scoring game. That's why I also liked it.
I think that's
for the game of the week and some plays.
Absolutely, I think that's a good pick. I liked it. So I think that's a game you can target as well.
I had a feeling you were going to take Minnesota, Tampa Bay. That's why I came up with a backup too.
You knew what I was going to pick. You figured me out. So so that's the game I like. You'll see in my picks as well that
I did have a difficult time with it, but that's what I came up with.
Okay, very good. I think those are some games to think about. Absolutely. And
so let's talk about our studs, our sleepers,
Absolutely. So we'll start with a quarterback like always. You want to go with your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. Against the New York the Jets.
Yeah.
For a lot of obvious reasons. Last week they had a miserable game against the Giants, lost against the Giants in Seattle. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. Russell Wilson's at 9,000. Again, just because they're playing the Jets, and I don't think they're going to go back-to-back losses against two teams that are not that great.
I think it's a great bounce-back game for Wilson. He's kind of been struggling the last month or so, and the best way to get right is to have the Jets on your schedule. So I think it's a great bounce-back game for him. I think it's a great pick. So I think he has a big game as well. I like that.
And again, playoff contention here. So it's a must-win. They've got a lot of teams need these must-win games.
Well, exactly, too.
I mean, you're playing the Jets. You got to win that game.
Absolutely. And, trying to get the 1 seed, because the 1 seed is the only one that gets a bye the first week of the playoffs now. So that's a big thing. So trying to get that 1 seed and home field throughout the playoffs is a huge thing. So they're definitely going to be out to play in the win and get Russell Wilson right. So I like that a lot. My stud pick is a bounce-back candidate as well. I'm going with Justin Herbert, 8,300 versus Atlanta. So like to target the quarterbacks who are playing Atlanta. They've allowed 24 touchdowns and 55 explosive plays. I think he has a big bounce-back game here. So at 8,300, I like Justin Herbert.
He's been a stud all year, though, Ron. I mean, he's just been a fantasy football dream this year. I think that's a good pick for fantasy purposes.
Yeah,
I think it's a great pick. There were so many different choices this week, I thought.
There's a lot of good options. There really is.
But he's definitely a stud. He's been doing, like I said, fantasy football-wise, total stud. I like
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. So I like him. And then who else do you have? Who do you have next up on your list?
My next up is I'm going to go with Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee.
Okay.
They had a miserable week last week too, thank God.
Yeah.
They again, fighting for a playoff spot. They're playing Jacksonville in Jacksonville. He's only 7,900. He's a good value for you too. So if you want to play Ryan Tannehill, I think that's going to be a bounce back win for them as well.
Okay. I like that. My next one up is in my game of the week. I'm going with Kirk Cousins, 7,500 versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's kind of a fun. What's that?
Yeah, I said I knew we'd agree eventually.
7,500.
Ron.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, they're a funnel defense. They try to stop the run, make you pass to beat them. And so they're really good against the run, not as good against the pass. So I like Kirk Cousins a lot. I didn't recommend his receivers, but he has too many targets, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Yeah, so so they get most of the targets. So you know who to play the receiver wise for him. So I like him a lot in that shootout game that I think is going to be.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same length with that. I chose Kirk Cousins as well as my third choice about Tampa Bay. Same thing. I did not go with either of the receivers. He's going to target those two guys. That's what he's been doing all year. So, but I did pick Kirk Cousins as at 7,500 for my third choice. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna love my third pick. This is my revenge game pick. I'm picking Andy Dalton, 6,800 versus Cincinnati. Going back to his old team, Cincinnati's weak. I know you love that pick. So
you'll find out later on. I am going to agree with you, Rob.
Oh, okay. So 23 touchdowns they've allowed on the year, 51 explosive plays. He definitely wants to play well in his old home stadium against his old team. So I think Andy Dalton, he had a decent game last week. I think he had 18 fantasy points. So I think he does well. I think he has a
Were you reading my notes? Were you reading my notes for later in the show? I know we haven't seen each other in over a week, so
that's funny. Yeah, well, minds think alike. So absolutely. Yeah. So maybe Dalton's the one to play.
I didn't put him in my top. I've got a real secret for you at the end of the show that I'm going to share with you. So stay tuned to that. But Andy Dalton is involved in that secret strategy I have for fans.
Okay, I like it. I'm looking forward to the end of the show to see what you have for us.
People are going to be glued to this to see what I've got planned. Anyway, so I don't hate that pick at all, Ron.
Okay, very good. So let's move on to running backs then. So we got our quarterbacks. Let's go to running back. And you want to start with yours?
Yeah, I mean, this was a tough one too. I tried to go, I'm trying to go with some high price ones all the way down to lower price ones. So, but my number one pick is going to be Derrick Henry this week. Mm-hmm. Same philosophy I had when I was picking Ryan Tannehill. It's going to be a bounce back week for them. The Browns held him to 69 yards last week, and they're playing Jacksonville in Jacksonville. I think he's going to have an explosive game again, fighting for a playoff spot. Tennessee, I think he's going to just blow it out of the stadium.
I do too. I know the studs at the top, it was hard because there's a lot of people that I think are going to have great games, but I like Henry as well. I ended up going with Aaron Jones at 8,700 versus Detroit. Detroit's weak against the running back. He played them earlier in the season, had 43.6 FanDuel points against them.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
Good to know.
will he do that again? Probably not. But, if he got to 30, I mean, that's a great game. So I went with Aaron Jones at 8,700, but I was definitely thinking about Derrick Henry as well. So,
yeah, I agree. There's so many of those studs, that you could play at the higher price.
Absolutely.
But if I was picking one that I think was going to get the most value, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry this week, only because of his performance last week. I don't think he's going to have another bad performance like that.
You know what? I agree with you 100%. I think he's going to have a huge game. He's mad, and he's going to come out running hard and running over people. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a blow-up game. Absolutely. So I like both of those plays. I have a couple of value picks. Who else do you have for us at running back?
I have a lot of value picks too. Who do you have for a good value pick for us?
I like in that same game, DeAndre Swift at 6,900 versus Green Bay. Green Bay has been very weak against the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They're allowing 26 FanDuel points a game. He is questionable, but it sounds like he's going to play. So I think he has a great matchup against Green Bay at 6,900.
Oh, yeah, that's a good value play. I've got an even better one for you. I've got one at 5,700. I've got Giovanni Bernard against Dallas in Cincinnati. Mixon is still out. Dallas is horrible against the run defense or their defense. I think he's kind of a no-brainer this week at 5,700. I think you're going to get the value out of Giovanni Bernard, unless he gets hurt or something like that. I think he's a good value at 5,700.
I think that's an excellent pick. He actually shows up in my picks a little bit later in the show, as you'll see. So,
I knew it.
Yeah, that was a great. 5,700. He is. I think he's a steal.
Yeah.
Our Dallas is so weak against the running back. So I like him a lot at 5,700. That's a great pick. I also like.
I'm looking forward to playing him a lot, not just as a value pick. I'm looking forward to him to just be a stud next week. So that's why he was my number 2 pick.
I know number 2. That's nice. Who else do you have for us?
I have a couple more too. I went with Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. He's at 7,000. He's a little bit more than Giovanni Bernard, but he had a career high last week of 135 yards.
Yeah.
He's due for that touchdown though. We need him to get a touchdown. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor at 7,000. Mm-hmm. Always, but then I've got another one at 5,300. J.D. McKissick at Washington.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know if Antonio Gibson's going to be back next week. If he's not, I still think he's a good play at 5,300, only because he'll get a lot of touches, but also that pass. They like to pass to him as well. So
yes, exactly. I like that. You have some great value picks. So nice picks on those. I have my other running back pick that I have is David Montgomery at 6,600 versus Houston. They've been horrid bad against running backs too. They're allowing 28 FanDuel points a game, so they're playing at home. I like David Montgomery. He's had 220 plus FanDuel point games the last 2 weeks. I think he continues to roll this week. So I like David Montgomery at 6,600.
I like David Montgomery too, and I did take a look at him as well. It's just it's difficult this week. It really is. You have so many good options, and like I said at the top of the show, the reason is because you're talking about playoffs at this point. So.
Absolutely. I think
it's going to be playing hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. I think you got some great picks, and we have a lot of price range variations too. So people can they can build lineups in different ways, which is nice. So do you have another running back for us, or is that all you got for us?
Those were the 4 that I had. Henry, Bernard, Taylor, and McKissick.
Yeah, I like them. Good
picks. A variety, high price to lower price.
Yeah, good job. I like it.
Picks as well too. I like Montgomery a lot.
Yeah.
Swift may be a good option as well. We gave you a lot of good maybe too many running backs this week.
I know. Too many. I know.
Maybe better we agree on something.
I know. We haven't agreed yet, have we? So we get on Kirk Cousins. So yeah. So So we have a lot of options at running back, which I think is good for everybody. All right. So let's move on to wide receiver then.
Did you have a problem with receivers this week, as far as picking them?
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of good matchups as well. I like a lot of the high price receivers. So I like that you gave us some values at running back, because I may be paying up at wide receiver this week and looking for value at running back. So
good, because I've got some value ones for you. So let me hear what you have. Who do you have for the high price ones?
My stud is DK Metcalf. I like him. I like him with your Russell Wilson. 8,600, like I said, Jets. I think they have a big bounce back. You're playing at home. I think that Metcalf has a big game. So 8,600 versus the Jets.
He is actually part of my group he's part of my group as well, only because I paired him up, stacked him with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
He's a stud. Again, against the Jets, I think he's going to have a fantastic day. 8,600, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
I got a value play for you though. Corey Davis at Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's set 6,800.
Had a huge game last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pairing him up with Ryan Tannehill. Trying to do these stacks. So
yeah.
Again,
Absolutely.
Tennessee's coming off that loss against the Browns. They need to redeem themselves.
Absolutely.
With a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good pick. I like that as well. My next one up is Mike Evans in my game of the week. The wide receiver, 7,300 versus Minnesota. Like I said, I like the Minnesota receivers, play them both. But I like Mike Evans on the other side to bring it back with. He's questionable with a hamstring, but he practiced today. Looks like he's going to play. He's got 11 touchdowns on the season. He's got almost 25% of their total air yard percentage. So they like to go to him. So I like him at 7,300.
Perfect. Yeah. Good pick. Yeah. I did not have him in my top. Again, you look at all these players and you can only pick.
I know. It's tough.
So
absolutely.
It was a tough week. My other player, who's actually my stud this week, is going to be Terry McLaurin, Washington receiver. He's 7,200. He's a good value, but a good stud as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a good play. He's always a good play because he's their number one main target.
What do you think about their division, Ron? I mean, do you think Washington's going to take that division? I mean, it's just a miserable division. And I think Washington's playing the best right now.
I think they are, but I think the Giants are a sneaky team. I think that their defense is really legit. So I think the Giants could, if Daniel Jones comes back this week, what they think he is, they're a tough team to play. Nobody wants to play out. Browns have to play them in a couple weeks, and it's going to be a tough. They play everybody tough. They went to Seattle last week and beat Seattle. I mean, nobody saw that coming. So
exactly with Colt Boy as well.
Exactly. So I don't know. I think it's between the Giants and Washington. They're both. It could be either one of them. So they both have good defenses. So I don't know. That division is just really bad. But my
feeling is actually going to be that's what my feeling is, Washington. So I think they're going to be playing hard. I think Terry McLaurin is going to really have a good game against San Francisco.
Yeah, I like it too, especially if Antonio Gibson's out. That could give him open up some more opportunities for the passing. They may want to pass a little more. Who knows what they're going to do? But yeah, I like that a lot. And Buffalo's pass game just went off against San Francisco, so that could be a good play. Yeah. Maybe McLaurin. So do you have any other wide receivers for us?
No, those are the three. I went with Terry McLaurin for.
Okay, so you have Metcalf, Davis, and McLaurin.
Yeah, I tried to do a stack.
Absolutely. I have one more wide receiver, kind of a value play. To go with Herbert is Mike Williams, 6,100 versus Atlanta. Kind of a deep threat, so I like him at 6,100 to pair up with Herbert. I like Keenan Allen as well, but Mike Williams, if you want some cost saving at 6,100, I think he could be a good option, lower owned option as well. So
I've liked him all season. Actually, he's actually been a good play this year.
Yeah, he's kind of a boomer bust, because he's the long play guy. So they do take a couple long shots. He gets one or two. He has a huge game. So hoping that happens for him this week against Atlanta. So I like him. So those are receivers I have. And you want to move on to tight end?
Yeah. Who do you have?
Tight end?
I had trouble with my tight ends.
You know what? I went all value on my tight end. My top tight end is 5,600 is Hunter Henry versus Atlanta. They've allowed 9 touchdowns to tight ends.
We agree, Ron.
We do? Okay.
That's my number one pick as well.
Okay, yeah, 5,600. Like I said, they've allowed 9 touchdowns to tight ends. I think Henry has a good game this week.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's exactly why I picked Hunter Henry. And he's a value play at 5,600. I did all value as tight ends as well. I mean, my next one is Evan Ingram for the Giants at 5,700.
Yeah, I like it.
And just like we've talked about before, there's a horse race over there in that division between Washington and the Giants. So
exactly,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I like Evan Ingram. That's a good pick. My next one up is to go with my man Andy Dalton. Is Dalton Schultz at 5,100 versus Cincinnati. They've given up 7 touchdowns to tight ends, so I like Dalton Schultz at 5,100. What do you think?
I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes.
Okay. All right. Very good. So I have another value pick for you guys. A little bit less than that is I picked him last week and he didn't do anything. So I'm hoping he has a good game this week. Is Jordan Akins, 5,000 versus Chicago. Chicago's given him 9 touchdowns to tight ends as well. He didn't do a lot last week. I thought he was going to do a lot more, but he didn't. So maybe he bounces back this week. He's 5,000 against Chicago. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Noah Fant.
Yeah.
Fant in Denver, 5,500.
Okay. Very good.
You know, they're playing Carolina.
Yeah.
In Carolina, I believe. I think
They
they're
are.
here.
Yes, they're playing in Carolina. Yes.
Yeah. Carolina against the tight ends. It was horrible. Good value.
Yeah, I like it. You've been good on your tight ends this year, so I think we need to take that into consideration. You've been really good at picking the tight ends. So
yeah, I've gotten a few right. What did you think about Darren Waller though? You know, I looked at Darren Waller and I was like, he's very expensive for the tight end position. I think there were a lot of great options at value, so I didn't go with him this week. I think he's going to have a good game.
I don't know. I mean, I think Indianapolis has been really tough against tight ends. So
exactly.
A lot of people are going to pay up for him because of the game he had last week. So I'm going to fade him this week. If he goes off again, then kudos to those who play him. But I'm going to go down at tight end this week. Kelsey has a tougher matchup too. I mean, Kelsey's same thing. The top studs, Kelsey and Waller, every week could go off. But I'm going down this week on tight ends. I think
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with the tight ends that I went with. All the value picks are all in the 55 to 5,700. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's where I'm sticking. I'm not paying up this week for tight ends.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So
and you're absolutely right too. The Indianapolis defense is really tough against the tight end. Darren Waller might not have a great game, and he may not pay off for what you
exactly. Yeah, for his price tag, I'm not going there this week. So
I agree with you.
Yeah. I'm going with the cheaper guys, and so we'll see what happens, see how it plays out. But yeah, so that's what I have for tight end, and now we got to go to defense. I almost passed up the defenses, but I
know I have a feeling that you might agree with me on some of these defenses. We just talked about Indianapolis. Indianapolis is the one I'm going to go for 4,800 against Las Vegas.
Okay, that's your number one. Mine's
yeah.
I mean they've got one of the top defenses all year, and they get lots of sacks, lots of interceptions, so they can do it every week for you. My top one is New Orleans, 4,900 versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia's allowed 53 sacks and thrown 16 interceptions. So I just think that continues. Even if Jalen Hurts plays, I think, he could turn it over as well. New Orleans defense has been playing really well the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I like them at 4,900 versus Philadelphia.
That's exactly, I thought Derek Carr was good for a couple interceptions.
Yeah, he could be absolutely.
A lot of sacks. I think Indianapolis is that's why I went with them at the number one. But I like your pick. New Orleans is a good pick as well.
Thank you.
How much are they? How is New Orleans?
4,900 for New Orleans.
4,900. Yeah, about the same.
Yeah. Then my next two are like extremely low, cheap value picks.
God, if you say Dallas,
that is it. Dallas. 3,500 versus Cincinnati. Like I said, Cincinnati gives up a lot of sacks. They've 44 sacks, 9 interceptions. Dallas has 22 sacks and 4 interceptions, so they don't have a lot. But I don't know. The defense is gonna get up and try to play for Andy Dalton and get the big win for him. So I don't know. It's 3,500, so it's definitely a risk. But for 3,500, you don't need much for the payoff. If they could just get one, fluky turnover or something for a touchdown, then they paid off. So I'm kind of punting on defense with that, but like I said, I'm just if I can get 8 or 9 points out of them, I'm happy. And then
good luck.
I know, well, true. So that's very true. So they make it negative. So.
I'm gonna pay a little. I'm gonna pay about 400 more for my next 2 picks. I'm either gonna go with Washington football team or I'm gonna do the Tennessee Titans. They're both at 3,900. Okay. Again, we talked about this earlier. These playoff positions, they're going to be playing tough, both offense and defense. That's who I'm going with. I'm not going to go with the Dallas Cowboys or Cincinnati.
I looked at Cincinnati as well.
They scare me.
Yeah, they do. They scare you, but they're cheap and, they could pay off. So, I get it. So I like those picks, though. I like Washington's defense. They've been playing well all year. And then Tennessee's defense, they're mad. They're looking for revenge. So I think that's a good. You can pair up Derrick Henry with the Tennessee Titans defense. So it's a good positive correlation there. So nice picks. My other defensive pick for you is actually cheaper than Dallas. It's Carolina at 3,400 versus Denver, playing at home. Now, Denver's given up 24 sacks, but they've thrown 21 interceptions. I had to look at that. I was like, is that correct? 21 interceptions. So, I mean, Carolina's only got 18 sacks and 5 interceptions, so they're not getting turnovers, but this could be the week they do it. I think, a few weeks back, I picked Las Vegas, same kind of series against Denver, and Vegas paid off, and I think the same thing happens this week. They're playing in Carolina, so I like them at 3,400. I think they get a pick six, and I think they come through at 3,400. So I think
based on that philosophy, I like Carolina a lot better than I like the Dallas Cowboys. I can tell you that.
I figured you probably would, but yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the Dallas one too, because Dallas's defense has been horrible all year. But
honestly, I almost was going to take the Cincinnati Dallas game as my game of the week, because I thought that could really be a shootout down there.
It could be. It really could. So that's definitely something. Yeah,
like the Cincinnati, it really could.
Absolutely, it could be. So there's some good plays in that game, and they're cheap. So it definitely could be a game. Actually think about stacking it, and it could be a sneaky shootout. I like that. I like that pick on your part there. So something to think about.
I'm glad you agree with that philosophy, because now you know what we're going to go to, our hidden gems, our sleepers.
Yes. And Terry is excited the last couple of weeks.
I'm very excited about this, but you already know. You've already ruined the surprise now, Ron. You've talked about it.
I'm sorry.
But I had this super sleeper stack is what I'm calling it.
Okay.
And here's what I'm going with. I'm going with Andy Dalton, Amari Cooper, and Dalton Schultz.
Nice.
So
I like it.
You got Andy Dalton at 6,800. We talked about him going back to Cincinnati. I don't know if there's a lot of animosity there in Cincinnati, but when you go back to your old team, you kind of want to do well. So I think the red Rocket.
That's right.
What is
Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Yeah.
I always call it the Red Rocket. The Red Rifle. Those TCU boys.
I know.
So I think Andy Dalton's going to be this is going to be my super sleeper stat. Andy Dalton at 6,800. Amari Cooper as a receiver at 6,800. And like you said, Dalton Schultz, the tight end at 5,100.
I like it a lot. And to bring it back, look at T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Giovanni Bernard. So, I mean, there's lots of great options, and they're cheap options, so you can pay for lots of studs in the interplays. So I like that. I like your sneaky game stack there. I like it a lot. So it's a great pick.
When I got that, I was like so excited. I said, "Oh, I can't wait to share that." I'm actually going to play that too. I'm going to play it.
Oh, I am too.
Like that.
I've actually put some lineups together. I actually have an Andy Dalton lineup put together. So absolutely.
Like you said, I'm going to bring it back too, maybe with Giovanni Bernard. I mean, that could be you have a lot more. You're going to have a lot of money to play with. As far
absolutely.
And
it's going to be low owned, which that's awesome. So that's going to bring you to the top of the leaderboard and win you a lot of money with Andy Dalton, TCU grad. So absolutely. So like I said, I don't think there's animosity in Cincinnati, but like you said, you go back, you see the X, you want them to see I am doing good, So of course everybody knows they're not doing so good in Dallas, but it's like, hey, look at me. So anyway, so I like it. I like that a lot. That's a great sleeper value stack there. Good job.
It's going to be $500,000, Ron.
Exactly. Well, maybe we're tied. I don't know. We may put the same line together. I don't know. That'd be funny. But I like Andy Dalton a lot too. I'm definitely on Andy Dalton. I had Giovanni Bernard. You mentioned him earlier. 5,700. Great matchup. Dallas is allowing 23.4 FanDuel points a game to running back. So like that. My next value pick is a running back as well. Myles Gaskin. $6,000 versus Kansas City. Kansas City's weaker against the run game. Myles Gaskin's a receiving running back as well. I came back last week, had an okay game. I got on late in the weekend. I mentioned him in the notes on Saturday on the website. He ended up with, I think, 12 or 13 points. So not bad, but not horrible, not great. So I think this week he has a big game against Kansas City. I think you're going to be behind. I think he's going to be involved in the passing game and in the running game. So I like him at $6,000.
Perfect. 6,000. Yeah. I like that pick too.
Yeah.
Not out of the ordinary, Ron. I can't believe I agree with some of your sleepers here.
I know. I have one more sleeper, and I would bet a lot of money that you have never heard of this person. So who else do you have for us?
Who else I was looking at? I was looking at more of that Seattle, the Jets game. I was looking at Rashard Perriman at 5,800. He had a terrible game last week. I think he only had one catch, one reception last week.
Yeah.
I think Crowder's still going to be out. I know Perriman is questionable still, but if he plays, you might want to take a look at him at 5,800. He's going to have no one else to throw to. And, Seattle against the pass is terrible.
Seattle is terrible against the pass. Last notes I saw, Denzel Mims is out for the Jets, and Crowder is questionable with the calf. So I like Perriman a lot. How much is Perriman?
He's only 5,800.
I like it. Yeah.
Again,
So
he's got
great play.
got,
Yeah. Seattle, they're going to be behind. They're going to be throwing.
Yeah.
So yeah, great pick at 5,800. So nice
again,
pick there.
He does have a questionable tag on him right now. I'm not sure how serious it is. He's
Okay.
limited in practice right now. So keep an eye on that. He may be a good value pick at 5,800 at receiver if you're paying up somewhere in running back or quarterback.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Very good. I have, so my last value pick for you is Chad Hansen, $5,100. Yes, exactly. He's a wide receiver for Houston. He played 59 of 64 snaps last week, had 7 targets, 5 catches, 101 yards. What's that?
He plays for the Texans or the Houston High School? Who does he play for?
Well, he wants Houston High School. They just brought him up. So, yeah. So, anyway, Chad Hansen, 5,100. He had 12.6 fantasy points last week. Like you say, he played 59 of 64 snaps. So, at 5,100, I think he's a great play. So, I can see you're not on board. So
I'm writing his name. I'm writing the number. He actually had fantasy football points last week.
He did. He played last week. He played 59 of 64 snaps. Yes. You can keep asking me questions. I keep throwing stats out. He had 7 targets in that game last week. He caught 5 of them, and he got 101 yards. He didn't have a touchdown. He got 12.6 points. So this week he gets 5 for 100 in a touchdown. So this week he has 18 points. I'm telling you right here, right now.
All right, I'm writing it down, Ron. I'm not going to play him, but I'm writing it down.
All right, write it down.
Do you have any other?
No, that's everybody. That's everybody I have. Anybody else for you?
No, that's really it. I mean,
okay.
I gave you the best advice ever this week with my super sleeper stack. I don't know how you could go wrong with that. So
how can you go wrong with Andy Dalton?
If you don't win money with that, you're not going to win money ever.
Exactly. So I think that's good. I think we got some great picks for you. And then also one more little thing before we go, just when you look at these tournaments, these big tournaments are hard to win. You know, they're huge, lots of entries, so it can be frustrating. So if you're entering a couple, look at some of those $1 and $2 and $5 single entry tournaments. So you can only enter one time. So it's more of a level playing field. So if you're getting frustrated playing these big tournaments and not winning money, look at the single entry ones and, go try to play a couple of those. You know, they're fun to play, and like you said, everyone else is playing only one lineup as well. So I think that helps a lot. So something to think about. So
yeah, that's good advice because you're right. Sometimes you do get frustrated when you have all these lineups and you're not winning anything. Do a single entry lineup. That way, you're like you said, you're on the level playing field. So
exactly, absolutely. So
might have a better chance of winning,
absolutely,
especially if you're playing that super sleeper stack.
Exactly, it's going to be low owned. I like it.
I'm going to trademark that super sleeper stack.
You should trademark it. Yes, for the Terrbiculus and Rondiculus show. So I think that's it. We have some good picks for you guys this week.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get to see you next week, Ron.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to get a good live next week and we can get some good shows. You know where to find us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll put the information up on the video so you can know where to find us there. We're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. So
Terrpcast.com because you put all that late information up. Sorry we were late this week, guys, but
yes. Sorry, and thank you for your patience. We hope that everyone has a great weekend, and we hope everyone wins big money this weekend.
Right. We gave you an extra day so we could get more research done so we could give you the even better picks. So
absolutely.
Have a great week. I hope you win some money, Ron. I hope to see you soon, too.
Absolutely. Same to you, Terry. Best of luck to you. And good luck to everybody this weekend. And thanks for listening and good luck.
Stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye.